Disclaimer: the information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GAN's processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
It's time for change to move into the real work of the universe. And it's time to understand that we use the matter state to reach the level of understanding of the soul of the man. Now you understand maybe why the Creator has sent His messengers in the name of whatever you have had. Is that they bring the ears, that it can be used when the time of the Messiah comes. They can teach the soul and the messenger, not to oppose, but by them understanding through those who have become messiahs, to give from their souls to these to elevate, the job is made easy. The school is there and the students are devotedly there. Then there won't be any fight between what they call the Muslims and the Christians. The lamb and the lion will eat and sleep in the same nest. The Christians and the Muslims will sleep and pray in the mosque and in the same church in the name of their souls, not in the name of religion that is used to create so much conflict for the benefit of those who were the hyperactive children. The time has come, the time of change is here. And as I said, my wish is my command. If it's your wish to see peace, the path of peace is laid very clearly. It's the soul of the collective awareness. By giving will create that position of change. No other thing. There is no pen in the soul of the man. And I'm sure once you go into the universal community, you will never see anything written but the balance of the fields of the soul of the existence. Try to be humble enough not to become arrogant in the power that you have understood and you possess. Otherwise, we'll fall in the same path of the church and the mosque. This is what we promised, and this is what we have delivered. We have to understand the operation of the soul, and we have to understand the soul of the man is a star in the cosmos of the universe. If we compare the soul of the man and many of us, 7 billion in one collection, Earth is like a galaxy with so many stars. When we look in the depth of the universe, we see galaxies with hundreds of millions of stars in it. So is the planet Earth. It carries 7 billion beautiful stars, which are the soul of the man. Carries with it soul of so many trillions of animals, plants, and everything else. So if you look, when someone who does not see the physicality of the earth and its content, what do they see? They see a galaxy with so many beautiful lights shining, each one according to their strength, each one according to their position. An infant has a beautiful soul, so has the old man. To those who do not see the physical dimension of this planet, but they see the strength of the field, we are clusters of stars. The human race, every single soul, no one from a distance sees that's the soul of a fisherman, that's the soul of the cosmologist, that's the soul of the president. They all shine irrespective of the physicality. This is the magic. This is what the new science has to bring to man. When we look to our soul, we see nothing but a star in the other souls. And this is the break. This is the understanding. This is what all these teachings are about. Coming to mature to the next level, to understand in the deep space, the universe is the oyster for those souls who serve. Then man is ready to go into space. Then man is ready to become part of the universal community which has been promised. I never promised you heaven. I always promised you the elevation of the man to join the family. And now you have the key. It's you who has to open the door to understand, if I can raise the soul of these people or millions of other souls, that the physical life on this planet changes, then I'm worthy to be part of the universal community. To be there to serve, to expand, to be there, to be part, that in the cycle of life of universe, I become, in being part, I become part of the totality. When man reaches that point, a new dimension in the strength of the soul of the man will appear, which is beyond imagination of understanding of the physical life. It's the gate to the opening of the new life, in a new dimension, which is beyond imagination of what you might call a new beginning, a new cycle, which that cycle carries with itself the origin of the creation of life in the universe and the universe. It's the elevation of the soul to serve become the key, not a throne of the physical life. The time is right. The time has come for the man to go through this process.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 287th One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace and Justice, here on Tuesday, August 15th, 2023. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department and part of the Public Teachings in English. My name is Rick Crammond, and I'll be host today. And also have a co-host with Mark. Thank you, Mark, for being here. And thank you to all the members of the Universal Council who are presenting today's workshop. And let me get that presentation ready here. And we will begin. Okay, go ahead, please.
Yes. So this is
Welcome.
Jaco. I'm the UC representative of the Dutch language. And we do the intro, and the intro is from the 498 Knowledge Seekers Workshop. So Lissy, please start.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome, beautiful souls. Welcome, soul of the peace. Welcome for the unification time to the universal community. Community is a magic time. Thank you. We started the Universal Council on the 2nd of August, a few years ago. And that time, none of you knowledge seekers knew except a very handful, maybe less than a handful of people, that actually the establishment of the Universal Council, the first session, and everything else of it was when we were in China. It was broadcasted from China. It was set up from China. And the whole program of the beginning and the Universal Council started on the isla Oceania in South China Sea. So China has been the birthplace of the whole process of the new cycle. It's not new. I still remember we were with other knowledge seekers in the island, and at about the time, midnight, when we were starting the things and the whole thing was going on, we saw a massive UFO over the whole island, over the buildings, with the lights and everything. We went outside, listened to the recording of that time, how it was spoken about, because it has universal knowledge. It's a universal desire of the man. And we stood out in our village on the balconies, and other knowledge seekers near us is their village in their balconies. Next.
Looking at the sky and seeing the lights, the beautiful conditions of what you call UFOs, but in a plasma condition. It was amazing fireworks. And wherever we went to establish, to bring that essence of peace, we see it happening. Space is a beautiful place. And by taking man to space and bring him back to Earth, he'll become peaceful because he doesn't have it there, what shouldn't be there. But we have to satisfy the hunger of the man. We have to satisfy the what I call health of the man. And we have to satisfy man to be secure on this planet. And then we move to a peaceful souls, peaceful conditions, and so on. Once you learn, you can travel with dimension of the soul. Once you learn that you can expand the dimension of the soul to get rid of the illnesses. Once you learn that you can use the expansion, connection of the soul to get the energies you want. Do you see slaving ourselves for 8,000 days behind the desk that somebody gives you something? You put something in your mouth. or you spend your time gradually in developing conditions for peace within yourself, and then move through your neighbors in a way we have started the world peace. Go back when we started years ago, when we elevated the soul of the world leaders, and look at it today. So we can go to the next slide, please.
We, the Universal Council, learn the totality of the knowledge of the Creator and creation to share with the universal community and understand about our mistakes on His planet so they will not repeat. Thanks. We are present. Next, please.
Stefania. If she's not able, I will do. We, the universal. Sorry. Okay,
sorry, was a noisy
continue.
place.
No
We, the
problem.
Universal Council, build the soul of peace, and on this planet, and expand it, release it to unify the entire universe. We're present.
We, the Universal Council, are the soul of peace. We elevate all souls in existence. We are present. Next slide, please.
This is the time of the soul connection. So if you can please just 1 second. If you can please find a quiet place and just going within and connect with one another for the elevation of the existing soul. We're going to have 1 minute from now. Okay, thank you everyone for connecting together, and we can go to the next slides. Okay, thank you. So this is the congress that will be happening in London. You can go to the Keshe Foundation store and you can still apply for donation for a ticket. So you can donate in exchange of a ticket to be present in this Congress. It will be in London in November, and it will be a very important event. We will have, yeah, thank you so much, Rick. So as you can see, you can go to the web store, and then you can go in the Ambassador Congress in London, and there you have the brief description of the Congress, and you can purchase the ticket. So it's going to be a very important event. Will be present also the people who will apply for the Mojan. So they will about to finish their week, and in that evening they're also going to meet up with the ambassador. So it's quite a breakthrough event. So where they're going to show the power of the plasma technology. So I really recommend whoever can go and support, please do go. I really recommend it. I know some member of the Universal Council will be there. I heard it last week. So that is good. You can see the picture here. That was another Congress where Mr. Keshe, I think was the one in 2012, when, if I'm not wrong, or maybe actually was later, because I think this one was in Rome, if I'm correct, that he was met in ambassador and giving the MAGRAPH system. So we're going to repeat again the event again, and we're going to show, apparently they're going to show part of the technology they never showed before. So it will be first time they will be ever showed. And they're gonna show this new development and the power of what we can do. I don't know if you, Mark, you want to add anything to this, because I know you are always quite update with all the news.
Did you say that people could, if they couldn't attend, but they did have the funds, that they could actually sponsor someone or make a donation for a ticket to be applied from the
That is
Keshe
very
Foundation?
good. This is good point. Yeah, no, I didn't say that, but please say it, because it's a very, very good point, this, because not everyone can afford the ticket. So this is where united we are stronger. So who can afford can donate. So you can please, yeah, you can say the.
No, I'm sure there's many supporters that have the resources to sponsor others. I know this is going to be where advanced technology is going to be shown again, and even Emojan will attempt a transmutation, as I understand it, if that's still on the card. So anyone who would like to sponsor someone to be there and just make the donation to the Keshe Foundation, and I'm sure the foundation will apply it or invite someone of their choice to attend. I know there's going to be many people there, it appears, and some of the knowledge seekers who will be there will also be elevating the souls of ambassadors, perhaps world leaders will be there. So if you're serious about bringing a change to the planet and you can't personally attend, maybe you have a scheduling conflict or for whatever reason, you can give a gift or a donation to the foundation for others to be able to be there to bring that peace that you've been wishing for. And I know Mr. Keshe said that these people that would be there would be elevating or enlightening some of the ambassadors or the others without even speaking a word. So there'll be some marvelous things shown. Again, technology that'll probably be baffling to most, but it'll certainly again, continue this process of delivering the peace. So we encourage you to send a donation into the foundation. And as we know, the more you give, the more you receive, and so you can give even more. But of course, it's up to you to make that step and to contact the foundation and just follow the procedures, which is all clearly spelled out in the Keshe Foundation store. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. I know that Andrea is going to talk about this shortly. He will make clear the new address for making donation. He will do this shortly, very soon, so people can be clear also to make the donation, because we had some changes on the account for the donation, so people don't get confused. And
right. There's many people who have offered the Keshe Foundation villas and property and land and many, many things. So there are some very well-heeled supporters or people interested in seeing this technology being brought forward. So again, we encourage you to sponsor someone who can't or doesn't have the funds to attend and they would like to be. And in a way, you'll be represented there.
Yeah, because some people are from very poor countries, so it's the money are relative. For maybe for someone, 1,500 are peanuts, nothing, because maybe making millions, and someone maybe in Bangladesh or another very poor country, you will never be able to be able to save that amount. So this is where equality come into. So even for the Mojang, I know there are some places still available for the Mojang training that will start in Manchester very soon. This was due a changing of the dates, so some people could not apply, could not be present any longer in March. So they moved to the training in London. So I know there are some spaces free for the 25 people, and even for this, you can still make an application. So if you don't have funding, if you cannot, because you need to make a 10,000 euro donation to be able to be part of this Mojang project. So if you're a person who doesn't have the 10,000 euro and you still want to be part of it, then you have to still, you can email to, I think it's info@keshe.foundation, and said that you would like to be part of it, but you don't have the funding. And the same things, it's for who have money and he wants to donate it somewhere. So a lot of people have a lot of cash that maybe even for some people to part of the tax, I think, in certain country, I think is America, where if you donate a certain part of your income, you have less tax, something like that. So for people who wants to make donation, they can sponsor, they can make a donation to sponsor people, also to be part of the Mojang training.
Right, and no donation is too small or too large. I remember Mr. Keshe along the way, and we also have the processing of the two brothers with genetics. So you can designate that, but it doesn't even have to be the 1,500 euro or the 10,000 euro that they're requesting. You can make a smaller donation. This is the 1,500 for the Ambassadors Conference, but you can make a smaller donation if you choose. And I know along the way, Mr. Keshe said he would match it. He would double it. He would triple it. He may even quadruple what you've given. And so again, this is all of us participating in this process of bringing the change. So if you can't be there physically, but you do have the funds, again, we encourage you to sponsor what you can. You'd be amazed how a small donation or a large donation will bring the change that we all desire to see on this planet.
Yes, thank you very much. And always remember that there are a lot research going in the background. If you remember on the last public workshop, Mr. Keshe was talking about some research. They were doing some study for the farmer in China too. They're really, you know, there is a high suicidal of farmer, and they were trying to, because they couldn't survive.
Yes, I think
Yeah,
he mentioned India was the number one reason
India as well.
farmer committing suicide was they just didn't have the funds to start the next year because maybe the crop wasn't as successful as it should have been. But that was the number one reason for suicide among farmers, that they just could not buy and afford the inputs at the beginning of every season. So this will also be part of the change, and this is going to happen. It is happening.
Yeah, that one was actually more about the GMO, like I think, because if you remember that they now, I think it was the Monsanto something, they were starting making these seeds where they will not replicate, and then people were struggling to have seed for the next season. So there was a big project going on to try to reverse the seeds from GM to normal, so the farmer could then go back to produce more seeds for the following season. But there are many projects. I know in the background there were. Do you remember the project of the orphanage of disabled children? That they were all these children. They were managed to they were very successful with taking out the nappies and going back to school as normal kids. There are so many research in the background that a lot of time Mr. Keshe doesn't say. So that's why this is where who donate. Also, those money goes for those research. So we need the Keshe Foundation always need a support to stay independent. So anyway, Andrea, he will talk very shortly about the address of the donation. If you want, we can go to the next slide. So I hope to see you, because I'm not very far from London, 2.5 hours. I will camping out there. Try to meet every knowledge seeker. Okay, this Jaco, I leave this part to you. It does look like paradise. It's where you live. It's where you live.
It's called the Locked Paradise, and behind it are the vineyards. It's nearby where I live. It's on the other side of the Alps. It's the French part of Switzerland, and it's where I spend my holidays.
Wow.
So I wish you all a warm welcome. Thank you very much for being here. The next text is my thoughts on the teachings of Mr. Keshe. There will be parts, words of Mr. Keshe, but it is what I feel, what I learned by my soul. And I really recommend all start to work with your soul. Mr. Keshe always said he opens his soul for the knowledge. And if we want to learn that, it's up to us to open our souls to what he is teaching. And that has nothing to do with the words. It has nothing to do with the physicality. That is pure on the soul level. And there's a lot coming in. There's a reason why the teachings are so short. And if you repeat it, if you dive into it, it's amazing how much knowledge comes, even if you read it 2 times or 3 times, or you listen to it. So I really recommend to all of you, do the same. Listen to it and make your own thoughts. So these are mine. As the sun become the earth, and the earth become the nursery for man. Now, in the next cycle, what will you create? Soul to soul? How can we train that jump to travel the line, how to get close enough to the soul of the Creator to manifest. Dear souls, soon we can try new systems that support us to show the creation and the Creator. The interaction with the soul of the man becomes the will of the man. What does that mean? That means that we can steer with our thoughts, with our intentions, which interactions there will be. Do you understand the way of Mitra? We can say it enough. The way to your soul through the physicality is in the 24 commandments. And part of these commandments were missing for so long. Now we have this gift to walk the path of peace. As Mr. Keshe explained, Mitra is the principle of interaction of the fields of the universe. Start living by thinking good, and the rest will follow. Thinking good will correct your speaking wrong. Your soul will guide you to correct before you speak. A wise man understands and changes to speak good, do good, to improve. Then this path of living leads us to the interact right and brings us to understand no more intermediaries are needed. Interact with your cups, your stackers, magraphs. Then you understand why Mr. Keshe called the 5-stacker our sandbox. It's for us to play with it. Feel the different fields your stacker shares with you at the different levels. Feel the pulsion and the repulsion. Feel the rotation above your magraph and try to become one. To be able to connect and to create the fields of the creation. We all have the field line common denominator to our source. Every soul has. So do the plants, stones, and all humans. We start to understand the essence of creation in our manifestation we call life. Are we ready to jump that line? Entering Earth from the South Pole, trusting our soul to guide us, to absorb, to interact with the fields of Mother Earth. That's the line of creation and interaction. Thank you, Creator, for the fields and our interconnection with them. Thank you, Mr. Keshe, for your knowledge and patience, for giving humanity the chance to become independent, free from slavery. Many souls can't wait to get out of their prisons and physicality. We enter the dimension of freedom and creation. So ask your soul to guide you, to lead you to be the captain. Be ready for that jump into the ocean of fields, and don't forget to swim joyfully. Feel the connection in unconditional love. We love you. Next slide, please. Okay, so now we come to a text that is built up on the script, and I would like ask Mark to start.
Right. This is probably 10 or 15 minutes into the teaching, which the teaching part of the workshop is only about 35 minutes. But as you said, Jacko, or Stefania, the teachings are getting, Mr. Keshe said, shorter, but more intense. Or is the ultimate target of all this work is to be able to understand, to make the fields of the soul of the man at the strength of its work. We have replicated to show the energies of the matter. The ultimate goal is to be able to replicate and produce the energy, the spectrum of the fields of the universe, and one of them be the strength of the field which leads us to the Creator. This is the work. This is what we are targeting for. And this is not just to show we made elements. It's not to show we managed to make a gas. It is a stepping stone towards the ultimate goal, to create that ultimate field which makes us. And that process allows us in that position, create a condition for us to board the line, jump on the line, connect with the line into our soul, to the dimension and direction of the soul of the Creator. But we are learning step by step. We are learning gradually. Diane, we'll read next. Diane, are you with us?
I think she's not, so I will take over.
Fine.
We came in with nothing. We came in with a stick in our hand in the caves. We didn't even know what a fire was. That we understand the energy of conversion. We learned step by step about the metals. We mastered them. We alloyed them. We made chemicals. We became nuclear physicists. Now we become plasma physicists. And then we become creator physicists. How do we find a line to our creator? And then with that, we become the ultimate goal. We become what all the creation is about. To become that part and parcel of the creation. When you look at the magnetic fields of the Earth, it starts from the North Pole and it turns back to the South. As you've seen in many pictures, that Earth is the creator. It's the center. And those fields show the way you can get to the center of it and become part of it. Create its atmosphere, creates its dimension of creation, interaction with the others. And this all, the ultimate goal, is to be able to jump on one of those fields. That in rotation and movement in the direction of what we call attraction, we become part of. We touch the soul of our Creator within when we go through it. When a magnetic field goes through the Earth, touches what's inside in the center, absorbs energies from it. And as we know, the North Pole of the Sun or the Earth is always slightly warmer than the South because it's gathered energy. It's gathered magnetic fields from the center. And somehow it's become part of it. And this is the whole subject. This is the whole principle of the teaching, the ultimate goal. Will it come to the point that we can create fields, that the interaction of their fields the interaction of the fields of our soul puts us on that path, that we become in that part of the hemisphere. Stefania?
Sorry, Jaco, I didn't see my name, so I didn't. You
Okay,
can
I will.
continue. Yeah.
We become that part of the atmosphere and rotating. We create the dimension of manifestation of the existence of the creator. Now you understand what it means. I am the beginning. I am the end. I'm the creator. I'm created from the creation of my own. Now what's the ultimate goal? Do we make that system? To make what? If you go back to the teachings of some months and years ago, I taught you many times, make Ganses of the Ganses. That the interaction of the Ganses allows you to create that field which leads at the strength. If you get it right at a certain position, the strength of the fields to get on that line of the loop of the fields of the creator. How closer you're getting or the further you are is the strength you observed. And then the closer you become, the more enlightened you become, the more you have to give. Lissy?
The fields of are old, and the fields which are near in interaction with the field of other, and the inertia creates life, condition of life, condition of existence, manifestation, creation. And this is all it is. We are somewhere 15,000 kilometers away from the center. And we are trying to jump in frog leap and come into the inner circles to be able to get close enough to earth, close enough to the soul of the creator, that we manifest, we show the creation and the creator through his creation. Now you understand. In the coming time, in the coming days and months and weeks, we endeavor to make the system. We're working on it. We are working on making a system that creates the field of the creator, the ultimate goal. And then in the interaction with the soul of the man becomes the will of the man. I am in command through the interaction of field of my soul to create what my wishes in the dimension of the wishes of the Mitra. We are a servant to her and nothing else. And through the serving her, we serve the creator and nothing else. And Mitra, it's not a creation. It's not an entity. It's the principle of interaction of the field of the universe. It's a part of living. Is the way you interact to lead to creation of the perfection. Dean is not here?
No, please continue.
Okay, now you understand. All this teaching, all this going from GANs to this and that and the Maghreb system and the rest has been to bring you gradually to the position to be able to create the field of the creation. Then you become the beginning and you become the end. Depends where you jump into the circle, or the North Pole, and this come out, or the South Pole, and this goes in. But the pole is your soul. That pole is the soul of the connection of you with the Creator. Every soul, in the essence of his creation and the point of his manifestation, has the first line common denominator with the source. There is no life. There is no soul. There is no existence in the universe, which has no direct connection to the soul of the creator. Now it's your job to find the strength of to create, to build a system within ourselves, outside. Man is genius and building machine to replicate and create the field. That single field that in coming in touch, when in connecting to, we get enlightenment. And then we see the whole knowledge of the creation. And we become part of the creator, that itself is created of his own creation. It's very much, if you read the book 1, it's the story of the creation, interaction of the field, which leads to mass and to weight out of the interaction of the own by them. Now, where are we going and who? We reach this. We have shown the position and the power creation of some 30, 40 elements and organic elements in the past few weeks. Keshe Foundation, in collaboration with the Chinese military, now endeavor into the next step in the coming days. We endeavor to create a new condition. We endeavor to show the existence. That is how actually it starts. And we enter the field. And then we exist the fields. For you to get from North Pole to the South Pole, you are lucky and you are on a rocket, or you can drive and swim and everything else. Takes you a few weeks to get from the North Pole to the South Pole, or at least a few days. But the field of the Earth from north to the south is instantaneous. I don't know, you continue, Omar, or I continue?
Diane, is it possible for you now?
Yeah, but I can't. I don't have the writing.
Okay, no problem. So I can continue.
Is Dean here? I gave
No.
someone a microphone named Dean. Is this Dean?
This is Dean from Oklahoma. Yes, hello.
He doesn't have the text.
Okay,
no problem. So now
I'm
we are
right now, so I will mute out. And hello, Diane and all crew.
Hey, Dean. Now we are interacting with the field of the Earth.
If you want, Jaco can read it if you want, but you read it better than me, so no problem.
No.
You read it better.
If you have, did you found it?
Yeah, I found it. Yeah.
Then please.
Okay.
We do another.
Because you are much better.
No.
Okay.
We do it together.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Now we are interacting with the fields of the Earth. What about the fields of the universe, which are already interacting with the fields of the Earth? And we jump on them, you see. And then what about the fields of the universe? We interacting with us within the structure of our universe. If we get on them, and then we know all these fields come from the fields of the existence of the creator. What about if we jump on that? It's not an impossibility. It's the lack of the knowledge. It's not that it's in the dream. It's the reality that we have not understood the principle. And now we are setting in that direction of dimension. In the coming days and weeks, we will show a new dimension, a new structure, a new way of thinking to interact, to feed. I walk within the health of the system, and I receive what I need as medicine, as food, as energy, as interaction of fields of the interaction with the creator. We're entering a new dimension in science and technology. We're entering into a new dimension that we can put a blind man near to the system, and he will work out that he can see the world creation, not only the physicality of the man and the earth. Physicality, planet. Yeah, you can go ahead, please. Yeah, thank you.
No, I think we stop here. Else it will be too long. We have not a lot of other things we want to show.
It's very short, Jaco. It's like it's very, very short.
No, it continues.
It continues. Okay. No problem.
So maybe we can do it next week.
Yeah,
or
it's
we
brilliant.
take the next. Yes, the knowledge is so deep, and what we hear, it goes on a soul level to the point of creation, and it feels wonderful. And I really can recommend you try to move your body near the stackers, near the magravs, because you feel the field expansion, and now we start to interact with them. So give your energy, give your love to the systems, and watch what comes out. What is the reaction? And the same we do in the connection, we do every day. As Mr. Keshe said, now you do it all the time. Start to live in this connection and share what the love, the unconditional love, does for others, because that is serving at its best. So thank you all for reading. It was beautiful. And then we can go to the next slide, Rick. Question, do you have a timestamp or what? Rick?
Timestamp for
this slide, because I'm not sure.
I'm not sure what it's for either.
Yeah, I think
let me see. There is a there is.
I think it belongs to the questions.
I do see a timestamp here. I didn't realize that.
22, no?
I don't have it downloaded, but we can do it directly from the YouTube, I guess. So yeah, let me get that set up here.
In the meantime, you get it set up. We decided to, you know, when you have the slide where the knowledge seeker then making question to the Universal Council. So we thought to show the plasma connection, because it is exactly what is made for. It's made for the knowledge seeker if they want to ask anything to the Universal Council, and usually they prepare in a question that every language can do, not just the Brazilian. So any language, the Italian, the Spanish, they can prepare question, and they can give it to Mary, to Raphael, to us, and then we read it once a month, the question. Usually it's Saturday. So this is the video of the question and the answer. And Jaco, I think if it's correct, we're not gonna see all, because it's once a month. We have a plasma connection with Mary and Claudia, so we can break also this one into 4 parts. So we're gonna maybe read one question. One. Yeah, perfect.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Question and the answers.
I think this is about 10 minutes long, so let's begin.
Welcome, Marie, again.
Thank you, Claudia. Thank you for inviting me. So, hello everybody. I am Marie and I'm a Universal Council member for the Norwegian language, which is my native language. I have prepared an introduction. Maybe you will translate before I continue.
Ok. Então, ela é a Marie, membro do Conselho Universal da Língua Norueguesa. Ela agradece o convite novamente e ela trouxe para nós hoje uma introdução do KSW 497, que ela vai ler agora para nós. Ok, you can go, Marie.
Yes, so this introduction is from the latest Knowledge Seekers Workshop, which is 497. In the last teaching, Mr. Keshe is talking about scientific experiments, which shows how matter is created out of fields, and that this confirms book number 1. In the latest Knowledge Seekers Workshop, Mr. Keshe speaks about the content and meaning behind book number 2, called Transportation and Transmutation through the Structure of the Light.
Nos últimos ensinamentos, o Sr. Keshe está falando sobre experimentos científicos que mostram como a matéria é criada a partir de campos, e que isso confirma o livro número 1. No último KSW, o Sr. Keshe fala sobre o conteúdo e o significado do livro número 2.
Sorry, yes.
Yes, could you please change to 2210? I didn't see the timestamp, but there's a timestamp, 2210. Because the other part we had last week.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
That was the introduction, and we are on the first question with a lot of answers. And the first question, I would like to know if the increase of our knowledge, such as knowing who I am, where I come from, and where I'm going, this can interfere with my behavior, especially in relation to commandments, such as being more humble, for example. Does this change in behavior depend only on our emotions?
Então, a primeira pergunta é: gostaria de saber se, com o aumento do nosso conhecimento, como saber quem sou, de onde vim e para onde vou, se isso pode interferir em meu comportamento, especialmente em relação aos mandamentos, como ser mais humilde. Ou a mudança do comportamento vem da união do conhecimento e da emoção?
Well, the first answer, emotions are the ones that blocks the expansion of our soul. We do not see a bird afraid of flying. It just does it. We live conditioned, influenced by culture, beliefs. As we go deeper, we understand more about this knowledge about the Creator and creation, and by recognizing ourselves as equals, it helps us combat that attachment of being competitive, and not comparing ourselves with another. It helps us being humble, stable. This balance in our emotions also helps us to give unconditionally. We often hear the term normalize. At this point, we get as we recognize the master emotions. Physicality, it is just a tool. Detaching ourselves from it is the search to create our own life condition.
Então, a primeira resposta é: As emoções são as que bloqueiam a expansão de nossa alma. Não vemos um pássaro com medo de voar, ele simplesmente o faz. Vivemos condicionados, influenciados pela cultura e pelas crenças. À medida que nos aprofundamos, entendemos melhor esse conhecimento sobre o Criador e a criação. E ao nos reconhecermos como iguais, isso nos ajuda a combater o apego, a competitividade e não nos compararmos com os outros. Nos ajuda a sermos humildes, estáveis. Esse equilíbrio em nossas emoções também nos ajuda a dar incondicionalmente. Muitas vezes ouvimos o termo normalizar, nesse ponto em que chegamos ao reconhecer e dominar as emoções. É apenas uma ferramenta. Desapegar-se dela é a busca para criar nossa própria condição de vida.
And there is another answer. From my understanding, when we are talking of knowledge or emotions or behavior, all goes together hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. That is true. That is the true understanding of the totality of creations. Think good, act good, and be good. One triggers all the others. When there is real true feeling from within, from the soul of the man, or known as the source or the creator, we have many names to describe the same thing. They are all the same, direct connection to the creator, showing in different shapes or forms. We go back to the think good, act good, be good. And when all three are in line, all magic happens. You can't have knowledge without being humble. You can't be humble if you are judging others. You can get compassion if you do not feel emotions. You can't get compassion if you do not feel emotions. If you have been doing good, but you're still judging others, you are still not going anywhere, or in fact, you are going opposite of where you think you are going. What you think you are has to match what you really are. If I give because I want something back, it's not true giving. And again, you do not go where you think you are going. If you are not aware where you are when you wake up, you can't move from your bed. You need to become aware 24/7 to be able to do what you want to do. You can do what you want when you know what you are doing. That is why knowledge gives you freedom.
No meu entendimento, quando estamos falando de conhecimento, emoções ou comportamento, tudo anda junto. Não se pode ter um sem o outro. Esse é o verdadeiro entendimento da totalidade das criações. Pensar o bem, fazer o bem e ser o bem. Um deles adiciona a todos os outros quando há um sentimento real e verdadeiro vindo de dentro, da alma do homem, ou conhecido como a fonte ou o criador. Temos muitos nomes para descrever a mesma coisa. Todos eles são a mesma coisa. Conexão direta com o criador, que se manifesta de diferentes formas ou maneiras. Voltamos a pensar, falar e fazer o bem. Quando todos os três estão alinhados, toda a mágica acontece. Não é possível ter conhecimento sem ser humilde. Não é possível ser humilde se estiver julgando os outros. Você não pode ter compaixão se não sentir emoções. Se você tem feito o bem, mas ainda julga os outros, ainda não está indo a lugar algum, ou, na verdade, você está indo para o lado oposto ao que pensa. O que você pensa que tem de corresponder o que realmente é. Se eu dou porque quero algo ou em troca, não é uma doação verdadeira. E mais uma vez, você não vai para onde acha que está indo. Se você estiver consciência de onde está quando acorda, não poderá sair da cama. Você precisa se tornar consciente 24 horas por dia, 7 dias por semana, para poder fazer o que quiser. Você pode fazer o que quiser quando sabe o que está fazendo. Por isso, o conhecimento lhe dá liberdade.
And there is another answer. As we have gained the knowledge that we are part of the Creator and creation, and implements this knowledge into our physical life, our behavior naturally changes. The commandments and the ethos of creation are the tools we are given to prepare us to become men of space. These tools are helping us to align our soul of the man, the soul of physicality, and the physicality. When the soul of the man and the soul of physicality is in alignment with each other, your emotions are balanced. Life becomes easy and flowing, and you become humble, knowing and feeling you are part of the totality, the Creator and creation. Life has a purpose, and when your inner souls are balanced, you reach the real heaven.
Então, a terceira resposta é: à medida que adquirirmos o conhecimento de que somos parte do Criador e da criação, e implementamos esse conhecimento em nossa vida física, nosso comportamento muda naturalmente. Os mandamentos e o ethos da criação são as ferramentas que recebemos para nos preparar para nos tornarmos homens do espaço. Essas ferramentas estão nos ajudando a alinhar nossa alma do homem, a alma da fisicalidade e a fisicalidade. Quando a alma do homem e a alma da fisicalidade estão alinhadas entre si, suas emoções ficam equilibradas. A vida se torna fácil, fluida, e você se torna humilde, sabendo e se sentindo que faz parte da totalidade, do Criador e da criação. A vida tem um propósito, e quando suas almas internas estão equilibradas, você alcança o verdadeiro céu.
There is another answer. The increase of our knowledge brings us back to where we came from. Try to understand the difference between physical life and soul dimension. As a soul, we decide to live an experiment on planet Earth for 80, 90 years in physicality. Earth, through its slightly out of center pole position, has its different seasons. This brings the beauty of diversity of life, but also the wrong position of killing to survive. The commandments helps us understand to go through physicality back to our soul and the soul dimension. We learn how to balance the unbalance we lived up till now. The understanding of plasma and the understanding of the systems Mr. Keshe gave to us makes it possible to expand our souls, to learn to take the right path in the right ethos from now on.
Então, a quarta resposta é: o aumento de nosso conhecimento nos leva de volta à nossa origem. Tenta entender a diferença entre a vida física e a dimensão da alma. Como alma, decidimos viver um experimento no planeta Terra, por 80, 90 anos na fisicalidade. A Terra, por sua posição ligeiramente fora do centro do polo, tem suas diferentes estações. Isso traz a beleza da diversidade da vida, mas também a posição errada de matar para sobreviver. Os mandamentos nos ajudam a entender como atravessar a fisicalidade de volta à nossa alma e a dimensão da alma. Aprendemos a equilibrar o desequilíbrio que vivemos até agora. A compreensão do plasma e a compreensão dos sistemas que o Sr. Keshe nos deu possibilitam a expansão de nossas almas, para aprendermos a seguir o caminho certo, no ethos certo de agora em diante.
So then we are on the second question. We are
Okay,
living
Rick, you can
in
stop.
a unique moment.
So the second question will be next week. So from this timestamp on next week, we will continue. Okay, then we can go to the next slide. Yes, and here is my same question. Do you have a timestamp? Because I saw it was in the chat, this contribution. Or does anyone know where to start?
I don't see a timestamp. I don't. It was just the connection to the live stream, which we could play the live stream if I knew where to play it from.
Yes. It's just Marie put it in the chat and I didn't see anything written. So maybe you can tell something about the meeting of the testimonials.
Let me see, what can we say about that?
Well, this was presented in the Reactor group, I believe, wasn't it, Rick? You used
well, you mean the image, as far as the image goes, of Gianni and so on. That's
recording in progress.
Oops, what happened?
Don't know. I just heard it say recording.
Oh, it's the that's the actual broadcast that I have from the from this testimonials meeting. So is the topic about the testimonials meeting, or is the topic about Gianni's things that we see in the picture here? Because we didn't cover Gianni in the testimonials meeting, but we did in the plasma group.
Yes, in the meeting, it was about the testimonials. Yeah, if there's something new we could present, or something someone has to present, or was more like that. So it is more about the testimonials itself.
What do you think, Mark? What is there anything in testimonials that comes to mind that way?
Well, there was an extensive testimonial that Stefania had interpreted from Renzo about a child and a mother. I think she has the details. She could share.
I can summarize if you like.
We're not going to share that on YouTube.
Summarize. I can summarize.
We can't share it on YouTube because it's medical and we have to go through too many hoops. We shared it on testimonials because it's not broadcast to YouTube, but YouTube has too many restrictions against medical. We have to be really careful about that.
Yes, don't take a risk. It's okay.
Maybe you can talk about Gianni then, explain this picture.
Well, yes, Gianni gave a wonderful testimonial in the Keshe Plasma Reactor group last time, and this was part of it. Gianni works on a number of levels with the plasma technology. He works with agriculture, for example, and has several multi-hundred hectare fields that have been planted using the GANs as to prepare the land, and for using special techniques that accommodate the plasma technology rather than using the herbicides, pesticides, and all the other sides of the regular type of agriculture when you're growing grains specifically. And he's had outstanding results with his farmers that he's working with. And the farmers are so happy. They have crops that are bigger than their neighbors and more abundance. And they can even do a second crop where normally they aren't able to do that, and other benefits like that. What Gianni is showing here, and he demonstrated, whoops, in the, oh, sorry, I have to get back to it here.
Yeah, I think this, what he was showing there was a little bit about the different, in a way, a nano coating process that he was, how he had, well, he's going to domes, I believe. He showed us a little post digger and how they're going to elevate the dome. And then some of the processes he was using as far as scraping the nanomaterial and then using the pressure washer to clean it. And he had a totally different, remember we were looking at some of the rings of the wood, Rick, and just some beautiful nano coating process that he was doing. And a lot of the materials you see on the table was part of that process of the nano coating of the dome structure, as well as probably the posts and the rest of it. We didn't see a completed one, but we definitely saw a lot of his teamwork there. And it was, you know, there were a lot of people involved in a lot of different processes. It was quite tedious, but beautiful work in the end result.
Yes, exactly. So that's one of the projects that Johnny has, is dome building. And he uses some of these materials that you see in this picture. The bin that he has in front of him is ground up herbs and plants that some of the ones you see on the table here get ground up and put into this container. Then he uses caustic to create the nano of the plants, and he uses that material to coat the wood that's already been nano coated with fire. And so that's part of the mixture that he uses to cover as a preservative for the wood. And he also mixes it in with beeswax and some other oils and some GANs and other things to complete his mixture to apply to these beams of his buildings that he builds.
And then I think he braided it some more with a wire brush, which I thought was a spatula. And then again, another pressure washing process, I think, followed that. So it was quite intense.
Yeah, I could show some of those things, but I don't know if we have time today because it is a rather long program. So if you want, I can show it for 5 or 10 minutes, or otherwise we can move to something else.
I think if we show for 5-10 minutes, and then people know where to come to see the full, you know, the full videos, you know, they can see that if they come in the Reactor group.
Sounds great.
Or look at, yeah. What do you think? Yeah.
Okay. Sure. Let me go through here. So if we go to, we're at the KF SSI workshops, the main workshops, we see the One Nation is live here now. And if I go to the Keshe Plasma Reactor group, and just make sure I'm sharing sound. Oh.
And of course, another active
there
group will take place on Wednesday at 7 AM CEST time. So you're all invited to be part of it. And Rick will probably cover that before we close.
See, where do we cover Gianni's things here? There we go. So let me see here. This is Gianni creating a fire, and there's a lot. It's about an hour's thing, so I'll kind of skip through and see if there's anything that's. This is Gianni weighing out the caustic. He uses both potassium hydroxide and sodium hydroxide. He weighs that out to mix in with the plant material that he's already created. Very proud of himself in this picture. And he goes through step by step, telling people what he's doing and so on. So these are some of the materials that they're using for the building of the domes. And what's happening is, I don't know if you show a picture of that, but Gianni actually uses torches to just trying to find it here. Not sure if it's at this section or not. In any case, this is the wire brushing part that, oh, whoops. Sorry about that. Careful what you click on here.
Right, and those were some of the holes we've seen for the elevated dome structure. And there's a number of different processes he went through and showed us in detail how it's how he actually puts it together. And then, of course, it comes to the building of the whole structure. So this was just prepping the materials for the building, and of course, the sow was enjoying some of the plasma.
This nano coating process, which is a fire coating using torches, is an ancient process, actually, not using torches, but using a fire. And that produces a very tough coating on the wood, which preserves it. And then, as Mark mentioned, Gianni wire brushes that off and then brushes on a bunch of GANS material and so on.
Right. And didn't he say, Rick, about the wood being almost lasting a lifetime or two?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Once it's coated, it's like being varnished with the coating that he puts on. It has beeswax and other oils in it, as well as all the nano of the plant material and GANs and so on. And it's a beautiful, here's Gianni with two torches doing double torching in his sandal feet. I'm surprised he doesn't have bare feet. And he's burning this wood.
That gives the burning down the house a new dimension.
Yeah, you pre-burn your house so it doesn't burn down later. I bet the wood is probably not that easy to catch on fire after all the coatings, even with the wax on it.
And Gianni's 30 years of working in agriculture and developing systems, but he's only incorporated the plasma in the last 5 years into the process, and it's taken off quite powerfully. And we've seen the results with the farmers, with the cows, with the horses, many other things you can make, creams and butters and mayonnaise. He lives the life of the plasma, let's say.
Yes, exactly. And he's also more or less conquered heat and cold. You could see he wasn't scared of heat with the torches, for example. And in the cold of Romania, when it's snowing out, he goes around in his bare feet in the snow and even creates, here's a picture of him making a snow angel in the snow in his shorts. So, yeah. It's
Ander said in the chat, Gianni said the wood would last 100 years.
Yes, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
This is a picture of the grain of the wood once it's been wire brushed and ready for the coating.
Almost looks like art.
Well, in a way, Johnny is an artist, and
definitely.
that's the way he looks at things. He's a plasma artist and scientist. Actually has a lab that's used for dentistry, and he's used some of the equipment for experiments in nano, creating different coatings on copper, for example, that are different colors. So you can have copper can be green or blue or red or other colors according to the temperature that you take it up to. And he has a very precise oven used in dentistry. And here's the dome that's been created. You can see it's quite strong with everybody standing on top of it.
That's really looking good.
It's the final piece putting into place.
Did he use this dome as a greenhouse later, or was it just to be
Most
in there?
of the domes that he builds are greenhouses. Some of them are just it's more of a gathering place or a place to live in. Some of them are to live in.
Nice.
And they have a central fire in the middle. And he showed pictures of people getting together, a dozen people or more, for workshops on how to make the GANs. And you sit around the fire and he makes the raw foods for people, and the whole group has quite a wonderful time, it seems. And they all work together to make these domes, and then once it's finished, they have like a celebration.
Good job. Wonderful. Thank you very much for presenting.
Okay, that's probably good for Gianni for now, and we'll go back to our regular programming.
Yes.
Okay, let's get back into the...
Did you want to say anything about this little background for a minute, Rick? I didn't hear you. Usually you give us a little explanation of it. It does, obviously.
I have to find my other PDF here. There it is. So yeah, second, let me get that up. The background image here is actually from Jedi Simon, who sent a new batch of background images for me to use. And he uses his own process using formulas and other interactions with his software in order to create these images. And this one I picked out because it seemed to have sort of a one planet vibe to it. You have the outline of a round sort of planetary object and plasma in the center and all these various fields interacting. So it's kind of a field view of our planet, you could say. And I see on the outer skin of it, it looks like all the people maybe are on that outer skin. And we see the vibes coming off as well, the rays coming off of this object. So it all seemed to combine. That seems like appropriate for one nation, one planet, one race for world peace. So I selected it and put that in as the background. Thank you, Jedi, for all of the background images. You just get the PDF back up here. Okay, go on to the next slide here.
Yes, and that is the invitation, fields of the souls, and physicality, where we can book a virtual seat for your soul. The fields of the soul and physicality are individual sessions. The systems will be allocated as before per person per session. The duration and schedule of session will be decided by the operators with each individual. And we invite you, we have to remember that visiting such a system is not that we become, it is an exchange. We give from our soul, we give from our ancestors, everything that is part of us, we share, and the system gives us balance back. And Mr. Keshe is working on these systems all the time. So every participating is also a contribution for humanity and for the future. And you can be very interested. It will be very interesting to see what comes out and what the systems can bring us as humanity.
Here's another image of the flight sessions for August, and a bit more information in it for people they can read at their leisure.
Yes. Some people were, or knowledge seekers were asking why it's not the X, it's not the universal body enhancement units that are used. And I can tell a little story. The first time I was in Linz, we had a tour from Dr. Klaus, and he said they did tests on it, but it was so strong that they had to find another solution. The steerings were blowing up completely, so they had to find other ways, and they had also problems with the acoustic. Even the neighbor's radio station had problems with the strong fields, so that's why they made the new flight systems. And in fact, it is the same. It's just the old systems had moving reactors, and the new system is even a step ahead. And we have to understand that the progress is almost weekly. Every new knowledge that comes forward is integrated, is used, and we see it in the number of systems that are online when we have the sessions. There's a big progress going on, and I'm very sure the Chinese collaboration, working together, will give another boost like a turbo in this technology. So that's how we come to the Wellness Center. These are the picture of the flight systems. Some of us had the honor to be in there, to feel these fields, to play with the fields. And Mr. Keshe now is telling us we have to try to feel the fields. That means use your hands, use your body. Your body is nano-coated. You have a GANs inside. You have one of the strongest reactors as a soul inside. Start working with it, and you will feel the way to go, and we learn. We all learn, and there will be big progress in the very near time, I'm very sure. So these will be located around the world on several places. It's not necessary to go there anymore. The remote contact to the systems is exactly the same like when you're inside of the system. And it's beautiful how it's set up, the total. And as humanity starts to understand, that will bring the change.
Jackal, maybe I can play the video here. It's kind of nice, only a couple of minutes.
Okay, thank you.
This is what you see is what is to come. It's the first time you see the Space Center Wellness Center. These systems can reach man in the deepest part of the universe. As you can see, the transmutation and transportation of the soul and the physicality is within the system. And you will see each system on its own. It can reach all conditions of unwellness of the body of the man operated by doctors. It is part of the space program. And for the first time, we show what is to come. And these machines have been operating for past 12 months. We know how they work. And some of you who've been to LINS sat in some of these systems. Now they've been positioned as one of the first wellness centers in the world. Now you see the future of wellness, feeding, and making peaceful man out of the man. In this center, in coming months, hundreds of these units will be installed. And more or less anyone in the world can reach. As you can see, there is room enough to add huge number, and the doctors will monitor everything remote. This is more or less the hospitals of tomorrow, with no patients.
Great. Thank you very much, Rick.
Yes, it's a lovely video. Well done.
Absolutely. So we can go to the next slide, or next slide. And Andreas, are you there?
Yes, hello to everyone.
Hello.
Here's Andreas, Universal Council support member from the German speaking community. And I would like to say something to the donations, and also because last time somebody wrote here in the chat, I have different diseases, what should I do? And I wanted to explain, as we saw, as Shako spoke about the sessions, if you are ill or have a severe disease, these sessions where we are 50 or 100 people are also the sessions which are now are not guarantees to be that illnesses are balanced or so, and so on. These are test trials. So when we had, for example, the feeding through the soul session, it was not only that we can learn in these fields how to give and how to absorb, it's also that's very interesting for the Keshe Foundation to see how the systems are working. And if you have an imbalance and it is sorted through your participation in such sessions, that can be, but it's no guarantee. And if you really want, if you're really ill, and then you can write to the email address what you see here. It's health@spaceshipinstitute.org. And there the doctors get in touch with you, and that's not a test trial anymore. There are different diseases like Alzheimer or Parkinson and many others, which can be brought in balance. And that's what the Keshe Foundation doctors are doing, which use the plasma technology. And if you write to there, they come back to you, and then you get a meeting with the headphones, then you have a diagnosis through the fields, and then they can tell you how long it will last and if it's doable or not, and how much it costs. And then you have really a serious answer from doctors. And then there is also a lot of diseases can be balanced. And there are other diseases like the genetic defects, which have been shown in the knowledge seeker workshops from the 2 boys, which need development, knowledge, improving the system. And there you have not really a guarantee that everything gets solved 100%, but a little bit will be for sure improved, but you help in at the improvement of the systems. And we know that from a lot of big companies or concerns make also such test trials. Only you have to take a risk because they don't know, it's a very, very, very experimental thing. And here, if you do it with the plasma doctors, we know a plasma cannot harm. It gives you only what you need and you can take it. And so it's if you are set dead from the present scientific world and you have no chance anymore and they say you will die, for example, it would be a good idea to write at health@spaceshipinstitute.org and then you see which answer you get back. And we spoke the last time about donations. We know, for example, that Mr. Keshe said it one time, it costs 1.8 million to develop the systems, to pay for different things. It takes a lot of time to develop the systems for the genetic defects, for example. And so if you have little amounts of donations or bigger amounts, these amounts are for the development for humanity. Once the systems are developed, they are standardized and everyone else can use it, of course, to much cheaper prices. And that's also the intention of the Keshe Foundation, to bring more people in, or like, let's say, balance 100 people at the same time. And so the costs can be made less. And so everyone is invited to donate, and so you help us all, you help the humanity and also all other beings. And if you go, as a few of us know, the bank account has changed, and you can find it on the Keshe Foundation website. It's keshe.foundation. And there you can click on the donate button and then you see the new bank account, the IBAN and so on. And yes, that was it, I believe. Or do I forgot something?
Yeah, I would like to add something to it. Yeah,
Please.
if I can. Yes. So yes, the foundation looking for all different type of condition. So they're in research. They're researching. So like SLA or any neuro condition, Parkinson, Alzheimer, dementia. They're looking for congenital condition. They're looking also for anything that it's quite difficult to achieve also with conventional medicine. For example, at the moment they trying to regrow the cartilage of the hip to avoiding hip replacement. That's very difficult to do. It's impossible in conventional medicine. Also, they looking for anyone who's got problem with teeth. Really, anything, burns, anything to do with burns. Patients who get burns, they're looking for that as well. So yes, like you, Andrea, you were saying, the plasma technology cannot harms. So the worst can happen. You're not gonna get worse, but you can get some improvement, or you can, luckily, even be, solve the problem. I don't want to say that word. So they are in research, obviously, like you said, because this machine is being developed and each time becomes stronger. So what will happen is, if you have any inquiries and you email to info@keshe.foundation or health@spaceshipinstitute.org, what will happen, they will do a free consultation. They will see your case and they will let you know if they can help you and how much they can help you. So it's very straightforward consultation. Obviously, they are receiving a lot of consultation, and so it's very important to not waste their times. So you have to already be able to know that you can make some donation for this treatment. Or when you apply when you mail them, you clarify that you have this condition, but you don't have the donation, and they see if somebody else can donate for you. So that's why it's very important for who can have a spare cash, donate, because they can help somebody. They're looking at, even for children with problems, autistic or with brain problems. They're looking all sort of cases to see if they can help. And this will really help the research, because they can see how far they can take. They trying to regrowing also nerves, problem with eyesight, vision problems. I mean, I cannot remember everything, but if you have a problem and you're struggling, even mental problem, they're looking, so not just physical. So depression, addiction. So if you struggle with any of condition and you cannot find any solution, cancer, they're really looking for cancer patients. So please apply, and they will respond straight away. Can be do distantly, as you said, so as everyone knows, so you don't have to go there. That it's very, very important, because people don't need to travel. A lot of people spending a lot of money on traveling. For example, even with lungs problem, very good if you have any issue, respiratory issue. I had the friends who was spending lots of money in traveling and then in medical appointment. This can be done remotely, so you can stay home. You don't need to travel. So please email if you do have if you feel you need the support. Thank you so much.
Stefania, is the video, Rick, are we allowed to play the video that the Brazilian team put together? I think Alex overvoiced a part of it. I thought that was going to be part of the program today, but maybe I misunderstood.
I don't know about that. And I don't know if it's okay to play on YouTube or not. Yep. That. Mhm.
Anyway, we are nearly over. I mean, we're already over time, so we can go to the next slide if no one has a question. Ah, yeah, this was a part for Mushfaq. Yeah. I don't know if he's still with us. I don't know if he's... Mushfaq, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, because, you know, this was because, you know, many people, like Andrea said, maybe they don't have the financial opportunity to, for example, have those treatment, access to those research, and maybe there are not donation for those people because they are not a donation, whatever. So we thought to have you here to explain the power of the soul, so that we can do this. We you know, we can practice to do this without a machine.
Well, it's a learning process, really, what we are going through here. You know, the system that enhancements unit and the system that has been built, and they're very useful things for our learning process. But in the end, the enhancement unit is tapping into our own capacity to heal, our soul's ability to heal ourselves. And this is an important aspect for all of us to consider. Yes, the machine helps. Yes, I mean, participating in these experiments help, or participating with the Keshe Foundation doctor helps. Yes, certainly it does. And along the way, we also not only recover from whatever issue we are having, but there is even something bigger going on here, which is the learning process that we are going through. It's not just individual, it's a collective learning process. For example, one of the things that Mr. Keshe has mentioned is that when we participate with within the enhancement unit system, there are a number of people participating, and they are contributing to the development of the enhancement unit's fields. At the same time, they're also contributing to the enhancement of those who are in need. Because these souls, some of them, are quite capable of transmitting the necessary fields. So, yes, we are connecting with the enhancement unit, but it's not just the enhancement unit, it's a collection of individuals, and many of them, having practiced for a while, are quite capable of transmitting the fields. Now, this is one level of understanding, that we participate through the mobile system within the enhancement unit context. But if we can step a little further, then we can consider the fact that some of these people are in a position to provide all the fields necessary to heal or recover from whatever condition one is in. Now, in that case, is the enhancement unit necessary? And so we are essentially at this stage learning that yes, we can ask for the adjustment necessary within our system, our soul, soul of physicality and physicality. And there fields can be made available in several different ways. So physical systems such as enhancement units, which provides the field, is one step closer to this eventual understanding that fields are available from others. Now, others mean other human beings. Well, it's the easier one for us to connect with because and some of them are our friends in the Keshe Foundation and otherwise. So it's an easier bridge to cross. But as we move forward, we get connected to the universal community, the field of the universe. There we are again doing almost the same thing, but our understanding is better. We know how to participate and interact with the fields beyond the limited understanding we had before. Call it enhancement unit, call it the friend next door. So if we go back to a physical system, such as like using GANs or pads and things like that we have used in the Keshe Foundation. So we are essentially moving away from physical system where we had to make something, make the GANs, make the pads and so forth, and then move to more system where we are more aware of the fields. And this is where we have to extend our understanding, the awareness of the field. And this is where exactly we are moving away from completely physical system to a completely field-based system. The level of fields we can engage can be better as our understanding develops. And the time factor becomes different. Things can happen very, very quickly. The adjustment process or the recovery process from whatever condition we may have been in can be very quick. And as one engages, one will see examples. And examples are, it's very interesting. I mean, this is from my own personal experience, is that some things it's easy to do. Other things which I think should be easy are not as easy. I mean, there has been some major changes physically in me, but there is a spot on my skin which is a little lighter at one place. I've been trying to fix that one. That was hard. I haven't been able to do it. So here's an example of I can do things that are much harder in quote, but something simple, which I think should be doable, is not as easy. So we have to be patient with ourselves because the thing is that there might be some emotional attachment in that area, which I am not yet completely familiar with. So it's a little bit difficult to sort it out. But in time, as our experience and our participation deepens, we'll get to it. So there is a bit of patience involved. Now, we're talking about moving from a physical system that are more perceptible to the non-physical system or non-physical field participation. We can think of it in another way. I mean, now we connect with physical system. We have to spend money to participate. We have to pay internet bill to connect to, as we are doing right now, as we are participating in this meeting. But these monies, these are things that we use, it has its value and it is a form of exchange of energy. We get money by doing something or we participating in certain situation. And not all of us have the money. And, but this type of physical energy that we call money is once again at a certain level of understanding. As our understanding develops in our participation in the field, do we have to have money to connect with the fields? At a very basic level, do we need a phone to connect to enhancement unit or another individual, or even the group doing a certain activity? In those cases, we don't need the internet connection. We are using our own wireless capacity or the field interaction capacity to interact with the enhancement unit or the people who are interacting with the enhancement unit or people who have already interacted with the enhancement unit. And one of my early experience with the enhancement unit was through Stefania, who is here. She went to Linz and was in the machine, and I just, since she knows the enhancement unit and I know Stefania, I could go through Stefania to know the enhancement unit. That was my first experience with the enhancement unit. And things have evolved, but the basic characteristic was the same as what I did the first time with Stefania. So did I need internet to do it? Yes, I have participated later on with the mobile phone, but that gave me the feeling that yes, the experience that I had with the help of Stefania is the same as what I was having through the phone, or similar, or as it evolved over time, of course, as I tried to do it. So the two experiences, they helped each other clearly. But I knew from that point on that I can do things without, actually using the phone or anything else. And sometimes it's more difficult than others, because other things in our head sometimes interfere. But in general, what we have to do to make this participation a reality is the feelings, the interaction of fields between physicality and solar physicality. the emotions. Similarly, the interaction between the soul of physicality and the soul of man. And these are very distinct. And we may, at the beginning, we may mix the two a little bit, but with time, one can see that there is a difference. And as we become familiar, it's kind of like, learning how to drive a car. At the beginning, I need to be very conscious of whatever I'm doing, pushing the brake, pushing the clutch, or whatever. But as one gets familiar with it, you are conscious that you're pushing the clutch, but you're not really, thinking in terms of, you're carrying out a step. The same thing happens here. Yeah, you are conscious of these emotions, but they're not so much in the foreground. The task at hand is kind of becomes more important. I'm going, in case of car, you're going from one place to another, same thing. In case of enhancement, participation with the enhancement unit or health situations, I'm going from this health condition to that health condition instead of focusing on the steps. But, at the beginning or the earliest stages, one has to go through the learning process of becoming familiar with these explicit steps, which in time become, I wouldn't say automatic, become a natural part of our daily activities. And the interesting thing is that as one learns these things, one start to develop skills of helping loved ones nearby and friends around and things like that. So it's not just an individual process of us becoming capable, but we elevate the whole community locally, globally, and perhaps even beyond that. And it's not perhaps, actually, now that I'm beginning to get a little more familiar, it is. We go beyond our planetary scale. And it is happening. And as you know, we are doing elevation of various as individuals within our society, and things are changing. And more things will change for sure. The only thing is that our, Mr. Keshe talks about detachment from physicality. It's kind of like, detachment from pushing the brake. At the beginning, we have to consciously think about putting our foot on the brake and all that. Same thing with, we start with physicality, the emotions start at the level of physicality. But at some point, we have become detached from it. We are still involved in the physicality, but we don't have to worry about, putting our foot on the brake and stopping the car. We are stopping the car, and that's it, and nothing else. The rest of it happens. It's part of the activity. The souls has, the physicality has the limitation of that it can do limited number of things together, but soul can do 1,000 million things all at the same time. And this is the most amazing part that I'm experiencing, is that, it's not just health. One's intention can be many, and the soul can operate simultaneously in zero time at all with all of these things. So it's an amazing experience, and I am sure I am just scratching the surface, and I'm just relaying some of this experience of scratching the surface. We can all do it. And there's more to come for sure, for me and for all of us. And it's a wonderful experience. And if we think money is a limitation, think in terms of the fields of the soul. Is there a limitation there? And there is a lot of surprises and things to encounter, as Mr. Keshe calls it, beyond our imagination. So let's see what lies beyond our imagination and not worry about money and all those things. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mushfaq. It's all inspiring. Thank you. Listen to you is all inspiring, and remind us what we can do. So we have to focus on what we can. So thank you so much, Mushfaq. We're gonna start our gym work, like Mr. Keshe, even the last workshop, Mr.
Wrap a little bit. You know, you said that we have to focus on what we can do. And when we bring up money, often we say we can't do because we don't have money. Let's not focus on what we can't do. Let's focus on what Stefania just said, what we can do, and we can do a lot.
Yes, I see this, you know, for example, in my work, when we improve in back pain or different stuff, I have to always make them focus them on what they can do. In this way, the problem becomes smaller, and then the problem disappear because you focus on what you can. Because we tend, as a habit, I suppose, to focus on what we cannot do, and then the problem become bigger and bigger and involve lots of all your family, all your problems. But yeah, focus on what you can is a tip to make life easier. And you explain it very well. Thank you so much. Thank you. So, and then also, like Mr. Keshe said in the last workshop, if we practice, become second nature, and then is become automatically, like you said. Thank you, Mushfaq, again. If there are no questions, yeah, we can go to the next slides. So these slides, Rick, we cover it with the plasma connection. So unless no one has, if anyone has anything to say, otherwise we go into the next slide. Yeah.
Well, yeah, this is the part for the needs and wishes from the community. So we should hear from people from the community. There's a couple of questions in the Q&A, and let me see if there was something in the YouTube. Not really there. Okay, so Saeed has a couple of questions in the Q&A. Well, one thing is a statement or some information. He says, recently, Mr. Philip Brown of the USA has shown great interest in plasma technology. He has sent an email, is waiting for a response desperately. Please check your inbox if possible. So it's for folks in the Keshe Foundation that someone may be contacting them to pay attention to that. And his second question is, can we do physical teleportation without teleportals to change location whenever there is too much suffering and persecution? Thanks. So what would someone from the Universal Council like to answer that? Can we do physical teleportation to change location whenever there's too much suffering or persecution?
But one thing I can say, it's that once we learn the law of the universe and we learn how the creator works, we can do whatever we want. That is the secret. So we become the creator. So I'm sure we can solve this problem. This problem, we know, again, we have to focus on what we can do. And then you're not going to have this problem. This problem will just disappear. This is my answer. I don't know if anyone here, Jacko had to go. So I don't know anyone here present of the Universal Council want to give an answer.
I'll add a little bit to what Stefania just said. About transmutation or transportation. Yes, a lot can be done with it. But you know, it's also a learning process for us who are learning how to do these kind of things. And for example, you know, I will start with the context of healing. A person who is sick, and healing the person it's a crisis situation within that person's physical being. And with the fields, you can change it, and the person recovers. And so when there is suffering, so there is a suffering in this particular body and it got transmuted. So if it can be done at an individual level, can it be done in a larger context? Surely we can create fields which covers a larger context. And that's what we are doing when we are elevating the souls of the leaders in various parts of the world. Here we are operating at a more collective level instead of an individual healing. So these transportation, or rather transmutation, is happening as we speak. We are doing it. Things are changing. So we are learning, we are doing it, and we are learning further, and we will do it better as we proceed. So we have to look at it in two ways: what we are doing at the present, and use that as the framework to step forward. There are a lot of hypothetical questions we can ask, but it's better to focus on where we are, what we can do, and what we can take from our individual experience to make it collective and spread it to a larger scale, be it planetary or even further. So yes, we do it, and we will keep doing it, and we will do it better. And that's the answer.
Thank you, Mushfaq. Always top answer. Thank you so much to be with us. Anyone else want to answer this question?
I'd like just like to mention this, similar to what Mushfaq says. It's sort of when we look at the question, can we do a physical teleportation basically to get away from suffering? Well, that's one way to deal with it, but perhaps a better way to deal with it is to address the source of the suffering and to elevate that source of suffering, and to elevate the situation, and to elevate oneself and others in that situation. Whether it's suffering, persecution, whatever is the situation that causes one to want to leave their physical location. I mean, one thing we can obviously do is you get up and walk. You go away from where the suffering is happening. If it's too much for you to take and you're encountering a friend that's suffering too much, or yourself is suffering too much, you can leave the area and find a quiet place to deal with it, or to leave the situation in case of abuse and that sort of thing. But can we do a physical teleportation away from the suffering and persecution? It's an interesting question that way. And how do we know if we're not going to teleport into another situation of suffering and persecution? If that is what we are registering in ourselves at that time, it may attract that again at the new location. So again, it might be better to address that source of suffering and persecution. Why do we feel that way? Or maybe not everyone in that situation of that we think is a suffering situation is suffering. Maybe some of them are feeling okay and have found a way inside themselves to deal with suffering and persecution, so that it actually elevates them and makes them more awake than in that situation where the suffering and persecution can actually lead to an elevation and an awakening for people. So who are we to say what someone's path is? Many, many times, in fact, probably all times that people go through a period of suffering, they elevate themselves. They find, they evolve, they find a better way through and change their attitude and find a way to be happy regardless of the external circumstances. Because only we can change our internal circumstances to make ourselves happy. And we can do that in virtually any situation. Okay, that was my input. There's
Thank you, Rick.
No further offerings. We can move on.
Thank you, Rick, for your answer. Anyone want to read this screen? Oh. Okay, I can do it. I didn't give a time to even answer. Okay, we are here to serve, not to be served. The Universal Council. Yeah, very deep. I think a lot about this line all the time. What does it mean? It's very deep. Okay, thank you so much for today, for everyone who was present, contribute to today. Thank you so much. Thank you for your contribution. I don't know if anyone wants to say anything before we close. Unfortunately, we don't have Sweta laughing about yeah. Lisbon, is you? Do you want to say anything?
Only say thank you so much for all souls in existence, and thank you for the people assist today, and thank you for the souls all time unifying with the soul of peace and unifying with the universal community. And thank you for your permanent support. Thank you, Rick, and Mark too.
Okay, very good. Thank you all members of the Universal Council for today's show. And we look forward to next week, same time and place for another presentation from the Universal Council. All right, this has been the 287th One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace here on Tuesday, August 15th, 2023. Our next public teaching workshop is the Keshe Plasma Reactor Group, which I hold every week on Wednesday at 7 a.m. Central European Time, which is the same as 10 p.m. Pacific Time on Tuesday tonight. So people are welcome to attend that meeting. It often goes on for up to 6 hours, and we delve into a number of topics, and people give some of their testimonials of the plasma technology, as well as questions and discussions on various aspects. So people are welcome, young and old, to attend the Keshe Plasma Reactor group. If you have things you'd like to do for show and tell, that's an excellent place to show that as well. Again, starting at Wednesday at 7 a.m. Central European Time. And of course, we have the Knowledge Seekers Workshop coming up Thursday, August 17th. And as far as I know, it will be at the regular time of 9 a.m. Okay, well, now it's time to cheer up Shweta a little with our last offering, which is the Flight Enhancement Spaceship Unit music version. And we wish you all a lovely day, and thank you for attending, and bye for now.